Their victory in the Manchester derby, brought about by the return of Michael Carrick to the dugout. What, Jamie, was most striking about the victory for you?
It felt like a back to basics sort of approach. And I mean that in a complimentary way, because they only had a few days on the training pitch with the players. 3 days, the news, a new coaching setup as well. Let's not overcomplicate this. And the best way to describe it, it felt like a throwback to the days when I played, how they went about it. We've just looked at Chelsea, man-to-man press, and man-to-man mark, and that is a big part of football now, certainly in the Premier League. But this felt like a throwback with Manchester United. It was almost a bit zonal, send the ball to one side, and then we go there. But when you talk about back to basics, what no one can stop you doing is running out of possession. And that was absolutely out of this world from Manchester United. And, as I said, distance out of possession by Manchester United players this season. 4 of the top 5 were in the game against Manchester City. So that tells you exactly what this game is about. They were going to need energy against the biggest rivals. But the standout for me was Kobbie Mainoo, who I thought was fantastic in the game, alongside Casemiro, who was excellent as well, that real partnership together. But it wasn't just about running. What was the idea? So the idea for me, and when I say it was a throwback, but we've got the 4-4-2 zonal press. We've just seen Chelsea do man-to-man press. What's interesting, and we're going to get to this with Thierry later on, is Manchester City definitely made this easy for them because they never had any players between the lines, Thierry, and that's something we're going to get to later on with Bruno Fernandes.
Between the lines, yes.
But this is what we would have done. This is what Arsenal would have done in the past, right? So the idea is, okay, we're all in a zone. We start now, and what do we do? We're going to let the ball go to the youngest centre-back, or maybe the weakest centre-back, if you like, on his weak foot. So he's a right-footed player. He's on that left foot. Max Lane, young player, still learning his trade. So the ball's going to come here, and then we're going to press, okay? As the ball comes across, the thing to really look at is Kobbie Mainoo. And he had a role all day to look after Rodri in that midfield. So he was jumping out of central midfield. So what did that mean? A big problem for Manchester United over the last couple of years has been this man, Casemiro, left alone in the central midfield. So your midfield partners jumped to stop one of the best players in the world dictating the game. So this means Ahmad and Dorgu have got to get inside and get narrow. So we see it now as the ball comes in. It comes into the striker. He loses it, Haaland. He makes a tackle, Martinez. Look at the distance between the two midfield wide players, Dorgu and Ahmad. That could be Giggs and Beckham. When you think of the wide working players they've had in the past, and that's what you need as a Manchester United. You need pace going that way, but you need to get back and tuck in. And look how narrow. There's Mainoo and there's Casemiro. That could easily land at the feet of Bruno Fernandes and make a counter-attacking opportunity. Another clip is exactly the same. We'll press this side. We've got absolutely no problem with the ball coming to Max Lane here. On his weak foot, stepping in. And again, the same idea. Kobbie Mainoo in with Rodri. Dorgu comes across. And you've almost, we talk about the diamond formation. We think of that with the ball. This is almost like a diamond press. You've got one of your central midfielders jumping out, but the big thing is your wide players. Look at Dorgu tucking inside and making it really difficult for Manchester City to play through their number 10s. And then they go long again on the weak foot, let him have the ball, play on his weak foot. But Thierry, Manchester United wasn't just about what they did off the ball, it was what they also did in possession.
Yes, indeed. And when you want to play against Manchester City, you also need to be able to hurt them when you're on the ball. And the space that we were talking about, Bruno Fernandes will operate in between the two lines of 4, and Man City didn't do it so often. Look at the awareness of Fernandes. He can see that Mainoo dropped. Lisandro Martinez has a possibility of pass, so you have to help in the space, higher. So you can attract Rodri. Now the ball goes to Mainoo that came to play underneath him. We go on the other side. And if he wasn't, unfortunately for Dalot on that one, a bad pass, they would have had an opportunity to score.
Mentioned this role of Mainoo and Rodri. Now we spoke about it being higher up the pitch. It was exactly the same plan when they were deeper. Manchester City will push you back because they have great possession, but the plan was always the same. So you see, he steps out with him here. Now he drops in alongside Casemiro. As soon as he sees the ball coming into Rodri, he presses again. As the pass is made, again, look at that midfield. Look at Dorgu's position there. Tight to Casemiro, Ahmad tight. No chance that these 3 players, either in front of the midfield or behind the midfield, could get on the ball because of the compactness of the team, but also the midfield. So Mainoo It was fantastic. Casemiro the same, and before you know it, wide players picking the ball up in counter-attacking positions again. Bruno, who was absolutely outstanding in the game. And who does he find? Dorgu. We've just mentioned the position of Dorgu, almost on the same level as Casemiro, protecting that midfield space. Brilliant from the midfield players all around.
And again, I love what Carrick offered on a goal kick. He knew, obviously, that Man City was going to press. But what I like, if you compare it to what Man City did, you are going to explain it. But first, I need to explain what's going to happen to be able to explain what happened at the top, because they happened at the same time. When you see this type of situation, obviously, you're inviting Man City to press, as you can see here. It's almost a man-to-man. Lewis is there, wingers inside. So it's a back three with your holding midfielder shielding, right? We all know that's what you do. If he jumps to the goalkeeper, because your goalkeeper is the extra man, we pop to go to where the striker came. So you know your centre back is going to be free. So I explained that first part. Let me go to the next part. Okay, now you can roll it, which is very important. Now you can see the difference with Man City that left 3 up front. They left 4 up front. And look at already Rodri, like not being comfortable with that situation. He's pointing ahead. Then you're going to see him shortly. He's going to point to Bruno Fernandes, how we're going to see here. But suddenly you can see that Carrick, how you're going to see here, is pointing. Who is going on Bruno Fernandes? Who is going on Bruno Fernandes? Now, if you don't have a 9 that can hold the ball well, he's going to have support. If they don't press well, here you can play short. If they do press well, you have an idea of how you're going to come out. 4 against 4, but Rodri is not comfortable. Play it. Look. You're going to stay now on Ahmad. That's going to take away Aki. The ball's going to go, obviously, we already know where it's going to go. Now, he's not comfortable. He's asking Alain to come back, but Alain went on Fernandes. Now, he's going to cover. Obviously, Mbeumo can drop because you have a run maybe from Dorgu, so Kusanov has to stay. Ball is coming on the ground. They worked on it. Why? Because he's coming to play under straight away. Now we can play football. And we are out. You attract short to go long, and again, unfortunately for Dalot, he was offside. But the idea was there, and I want to go back to what Man City didn't do too well. If you want to dislodge a 4-4-2 flat defending, that's what Man City do more often than not. You need to be in between the lines, just like Bruno Fernandes was found. So, have a look. Rodri is asking who wants that ball. At that particular moment, you have your 2. Your 8, your holding midfielder, facing the line of 4. Your 10 has to go and play here and ask for that ball here. Do not come to the ball. You make it too easy. That's what too easy in bracket for Menu to go and put pressure. Obviously, Cherki is to the ball. You see him, he goes to the ball. Look at the difference between Cherki and Bernardo Silva. Cherki stays low. Look at where Bernardo Silva is going to go. To the pocket. Cherki, you should have been here. And I explain why. If you go here, he has to cut now the pass inside. That's free a pass now for Semenyo. And if Semenyo receives the ball, he has a problem now. Because what I call the domino effect now, you have 5 guys in line. On the contrary to you, it's a 3-2-5. But then you can operate and you can hurt now that team in a 4-4-2 flat. But Cherki kept on coming to the ball and going low. It's too easy to defend for me now. You had an opportunity to have a 3v2 on the side. He goes to get the ball off the centre back. Now you're bringing it. Look at what you have now. You have an underload. Yes, Semenyo could have dribbled past everybody, but you're not dislodging a 4-4-2 like that.
Okay, and we're going to go to the goal. And you've got to remember, the guy who scores is in the wall, and so is Bruno Fernandes. And the goals, the counter-attacking goals in the Premier League in the last 18 months have sort of gone off the scale. I think we're almost double, as I said, in the last 18 months than what we've been in the 10 years before. So it's a huge part of the game. So when this ball comes in and Harry Maguire heads it away, that space there, you might think it's not a problem. It is. It is a problem, as we go on to see. Maybe the guy who's taking the free kick is not the right guy to take it because he can't deal with this situation. Now what he needs to do as he's taken that is to jump and make sure when this ball drops here, he either wins the tackle, not his forte, or give a foul away. He has to stop the counter-attack. So thinking you're okay in this situation in the Premier League right now is not. You're not. Now he has to make a foul and then Manchester United away, and it's a fantastic goal from them. The first goal in a big game like this is hugely important. Bruno Fernandes, fantastic, and Mbeumo. But Thierry, you need to take over this.
Yes, there's something that I want to talk about. I grew up watching Michael Laudrup, the best passer of the ball that I've ever seen. That's my opinion. As you're going to roll it here, I always saw him, when he wants to pass the ball that way, moving it right to pass it left, move it left to pass it right. Because what it does, it will create a little confusion to the defender and will make them move and give time and space to his striker. This guy is not playing football, he's thinking about it. That's a different ball game for me. So now, he didn't touch it yet, okay? He's running with the ball, that's the distance, 4 yards. You're running the right way to be able to cut across the striker. If that ball is played, he's in his momentum, he can run with it. Look at how he has to move away now. Just that, by moving the ball, when Bruno Fernandes moved the ball, just that, the only time he's back on his leg to be able to have the force to go back that way, 2 yards happen in between the first time we stopped it to now. And those 2 yards are going to be vital. He thought about it. He didn't just pass the ball for the sake of passing it. This guy thinks. Now have a look. When he's about to unleash it, it's 3 yards. Add 2 yards to that. Maybe Mbeumo would have chopped him, if he was too close to him. But maybe he would have blocked it also if he was there. It would have been a different scene. He made that happen. Yes, I know people will say it's easy. It's not easy. It is not easy. He thought about it. He moved him, unleashed it for Mbeumo.
And the second goal, Thierry?
It's just, that was will. I love what Cunha does, because whenever he plays or he comes on, he always brings something extra. Here, that's the sheer desire of wanting to go. Both him wanting to pass his guy and Dorgu to want to attack the ball. That was, for me, that goal summarized exactly what was in the team and what wasn't in the team. Because when Cunha now takes the ball, you're not in real danger. There's a sheer wanting to do something. And then look at that moment. Who is in the box? Nobody's in the box yet. Really. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Man City players, only Dorgu really attacking that ball and having that will and that desire to score. And as you said, nobody stops you from running, so you can do that. And they did it so well.
What a return for Michael Carrick. He got one over Pep Guardiola. He's getting a nice collection of scalps, has he, there, above those of the 3 games he took charge of previously when to the fort, beating Unai Emery, drawing with Thomas Tuchel, and beating Mikel Arteta as well. And Manchester United fans have been getting involved on Finalysis. We posed the question to them. If United qualify for the Champions League, should Michael Carrick be given the job full time? 70% say yes. He could be building an interesting case based on the analysis I've just been watching from.
Yeah, let's talk about Man United then. I don't know anyone that predicted they would play like they did against Manchester City on the weekend. Just how impressed were you by that performance?
But you heard Gary Neville saying that clip is one of the best performances he's seen. I think it's one of the best performances I've seen in 3 or 4 years at Man United. I think it was fantastic. If you'd asked me beforehand, that performance would have come. No, I thought Man City would have beat Man United comfortably on the day because they'd been in good form and Man United had not been in the greatest of form. Sometimes you can have that and manage a bounce. So I know Man United fans I'm not going to dampen everything because it was a fantastic result, but the next couple of games are massively important for them. But what a start for it. I thought they were fantastic, the way they pressed, the way they closed that. They won 2-0. They could have won 5 or 6-0. I thought they were fantastic. And the team he picked us with no Cunha, I was surprised. Dorgu was in the team. Outstanding, gets his goal. So full credit must go to Michael Carrick. I think he's brought in Steve Holland, who's got good experience having worked with Gareth Southgate. I think he will help him. But yeah, huge credit. What a result for Man United.
What were the big changes then for you? Because obviously, I mean, you've sort of alluded to what Jamie Carragher was saying there, where it sort of felt like the Manchester United of old that you were watching at times during that match. Was it as simple as, you know, players playing in their natural positions, whether that's Bruno, you talked about Patrick Dorgu's role there, Mainu starting again. What were the sort of the big things for you?
Yeah, players playing in their positions and players knowing their roles and bringing experienced players back in as well also. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing. And then you've got quality. Ahmad's quality. He's just come back from AFCON. He was brilliant for Ivory Coast. Ahmad, you've got Bruno Fernandes, one of the best midfielders in the Premier League for me, playing in his right position, not playing in one of the two, playing in his favoured little number 10 position where he can go and cause problems and create stuff. You know he's one of the best at doing that. The biggest surprise was no Cunha. I was surprised, but he brought Cunha on. He had an effect. Brian Mbeumo caused a lot of problems, plays on the shoulders as he scored it with his goal where Bruno plays, because Bruno could have easily played it to the right. Bruno probably played the most difficult pass but made it look so easy. Everyone at home would say it's an easy pass. It's not an easy pass. He's running at such speed, he has to slow it, the timing of the pass. Brian Mbeumo has to time his run, and the finish is outstanding. I thought everything Michael Carrick was doing on the training pitch, it implicated, the players implicated that onto the pitch. I thought it was a brilliant performance.
On Bruno then, did it just show him playing that number 10 role? That is where you get the best out of him.
Yeah,
he needs to play in that position.
You can't put him in the two. Bruno's not one who wants to be tracking back, making tackles and blocks like that. What Bruno Fernandes wants to do is getting on the ball, making things happen, creating chances. The likes of Šeško, Cunha and Mbeumo want Bruno Fernandes closer to them. And that's where Man United fans and Man United players want Bruno is higher up the pitch to go and cause problems. I thought he was outstanding. He was unlucky. His offside goal would have been fantastic. The finish where he goes round the goalkeeper and then the defender slides in and he chops him and then rolls it into the empty net. I was like, oh, VAR, don't get involved, or the offside, don't get involved. It was that good. But no, he's a top player, Bruno Fernandes, and I hope he stays at Man United for many years. Obviously, there was talks of him being linked away. Now he's key, captain, fantastic, and I thought it was a captain's performance on the weekend. And I hope from now to the end of the season, Man United can go on a good run, and because Michael Carrick thoroughly deserves it.
Yeah. What about Kobbie Mainoo then? Because that was one of the headlines when the team news broke an hour before kick-off, the fact that he was starting alongside Casemiro. And you saw the pictures at the end as well, where him and Carrick were embracing. Did he repay Carrick's faith by starting that match? Yeah,
he did, and he had. I thought he had a good game. Kobbie Mainoo. Listen, there's been a lot of talk about Kobbie Mainoo. Should he be playing? Should he not be playing? But he's come through the ranks. The Man United fans want to see him on the pitch, and I think he's an outstanding player. You got to think, a couple of years ago, he was starting for England at the Euros. He was a starter there, and then all of a sudden he hasn't been given game time. Ruben Amorim preferred Casemiro and Bruno, who's not a natural centre midfielder. Then he's put Agate ahead of him, who's nowhere near as good as, for me, as Kobbie Mainoo is. So I'm glad Kobbie Mainoo got his opportunity. It's up to him to knuckle down now. He's been given the opportunity. There was talk of him leaving, and maybe he would have left if Ruben Amorim was in charge. He'll stay at Man United. Carrick will give him an opportunity. Now it's down to Kobbie Mainoo to get a run of games and rediscover his form, because we know he's a credible young talent.
Yeah. Right, let's bring Dave into the conversation then. He's been taking a closer look at
Bruno Fernandes further forward in that familiar number 10 position, and he is surrounded by pace as well in Amad Dorgu and Brian Mbeumo up front. Now, one of the reasons why Fernandes is so good in that position is his ability to find space. He received more passes between the lines than in any Premier League game this season. Now, between the lines, if you're unfamiliar, is that space between the opponent's midfield and defence, which is considered a big area from which to generate chances from. He received the ball in that area 13 times, 6 more than in any other game he has played in this season. Really important. And these examples are all from the first half an hour of the game on Saturday lunchtime. Luke Shaw finds the run. There he is in between the lines, behind the midfield, in front of the defence, and he is able to set Dorgu away down the left, and United win a corner from that position. Another opportunity here, first time ball into Fernandes, finds space beside Rodri, and he plays the ball out wide to Dalot, who eventually gets it to Amad, and a chance is created here on the edge of the box for Kobbie Mainoo, which is eventually saved by Donnarumma. But that's the space you want Fernandes in. And his opportunity actually was to find space ready for the counter-attack. He sets away Amad on that occasion, and another opportunity for Manchester United. And really, he is in a league of his own when it comes to chances created in the Premier League. This is the list since his Premier League debut. So since January 2020, Bruno Fernandes has hit the landmark of 600 chances created, way ahead of everyone else on the list. Kevin De Bruyne is there with 432. Then comes Mo Salah on 396. Some big names as well on that list: Bukayo Saka, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Martin Odegaard. But Bruno Fernandes out there on his own on 600. What a player.